You know, man? They're communicating cross species. So awesome. You know? Yeah, because nobody called it to the from his own species. But the others, yeah, that's cool. Blessings and welcome forward to Reasons right here at the Tree of Life. It's just been a great moment just hearing, listening to the birds in the background. We're right here in the beautiful Mandeville. And yeah, it's an awesome Sunday evening, Sunday afternoon, yeah. It's quite quiet, you know, not as loud as some of the normal days, sometimes in a busy week. I'll just hear the children, the birds, it just reminds us so much, you know, of the beauty of life, you know, hands down. So welcome once again to Reason Right at the Tree of Life. I'm your host, the Great Owl, and my co-host, Brother Ramon Singh.
Perfect love.
Perfect love.
Perfect love.
Perfect love. So, brother, this current offering is going to be on temptation. How we deal with temptation. Because, I mean, a lot of people find ourselves being tempted by the things we are enticed by, the things that intrigue us, the things that maybe we wish we had. And so, there's an enemy always waiting for an opportunity, maybe even trying to create an opportunity by which they can get into those little desires we have. And, you know, kind of lure us into a trap. So the trap of temptation engages through, I guess our desires are maybe trying to take advantage of a fear we have or a situation we find ourselves in. Now I know for many people, when you're in that situation, a lot of times we don't come out always on a good end. It's after like you fell for the temptation and you saw that, you know, it totally wrecked your perception of maybe the person or the situation, and you realize that, oh, this was really just somebody that tried to bait me. It's like dangling a carrot in front of me. And then you have to examine what made that possible. What was so weak within you? What was so engaging in you? What was so hungry within you? That somebody was just so able to dangle that carrot in front of you, entice you with the offer of the best job, and all the perfect conditions that you think you should operate under. And then after you got there, you realize that people basically are using, maybe if it's another country, take your passport, and basically it's forcing you to stay, using force to keep you there. So breaking temptation is a little bit of having a little bit of discernment, and to know when some things are sometimes too good to be true, reading in between the lines to see when you're being led to a belief you have of something that will be satisfying, but not that the circumstances are actually showing you that it's satisfying. It's more a feeling you have. So you have to question yourself, really. Your take on these matters, Brother Ahmad.
So, temptation to want to do something that you know is bad for you, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Temptation to me, you see me?
Mm-hmm.
Because what me realize is weakness.
Mm-hmm.
Weakness is the connecting point to
Hallelujah.
temptation. You see me? So it's true, our weakness, everybody have them individual weakness.
Absolutely.
You see me? And it might similar
Yes.
in some cases. You see me? Most people weakness nowadays is lust.
Mm-hmm. That's
You
a
see
big
me?
one for real.
Yeah, man, and the same deadly sins. You see me? You have the lust, you have the envy,
Mm-hmm. The gluttony.
the gluttony.
Yeah, man. You understand?
You
The
see me?
deception. Yeah. And wrath or just anger, you know.
Yes, sir. So many different weakness.
Mm-hmm.
That is the gateway
Mm-hmm.
for the enemy come in.
Mm-hmm.
You see me? But is also the gateway to get closer to the Most High too.
Mm-hmm.
You see me?
Mm-hmm.
It's what we do with the temptation now. The temptation can be a blessing in disguise. You see me? It's through the temptation that we now say, no man, we have to be better now. We have to be better now.
Focus
A
more.
time for better. You see me? So it will help we become more noble. it will help you become more purer. You see me?
Absolutely.
Because we are let go the temptation, we see it. You see me? We realize that alright, back in the time me used to do wrong, now me I do the right thing. And the same way we can even understand the next one who are go through for them temptation struggle. You see me?
Absolutely.
And say, Jano, we understand, you know, we used to be where you were at. You see me?
You are at right now.
Yeah.
The truth is, you got it there. At least if you have not had an experience of it and overcoming it, sometimes it's kind of hard to encourage someone to, you know, go beyond their temptations when a lot of times it is the enticement to their desires. It's like people caught you at a weak moment because in that moment you probably did need that strength. So like a man for a woman coming at a moment when she's going through her worst times, you know, sometimes seeming like everything about that person is perfect. And, you know, something in her is saying that, you know, she needs to heal or complete or whatever a process she's doing. But this moment just seems so beautiful, right? And sometimes she goes ahead. And that's like, it's not really like the person was so deliberately against her, but it's that the enemy used the situation of that temptation to get her into deeper hurt and pain, because she's just coming out of one situation of pain, and before she can process that fully, then she's into another situation that at first appears as if it's going to go towards a complete opposite of suffering. And then after a while here comes the suffering, here comes the pain, here comes the heartache, here comes that deep, oh my God, what's going on? And then you realize that you're caught in a temptation. And for me, I've had more than one temptation, but one of them that has been over the years sometimes, you know, I always, you know, I guess fall for, I guess, a certain type of, you know, women, you know, and a lot of times the temptation is just women who are on their process, but they're not necessarily at the highest level of it. But they're attractive and appealing to the fact that they can relate to some of the arguments, right? But here's the thing now, many a times, a person's experience shouldn't just be the determining factor of all of your outcomes. It's good that this happened to you, but you shouldn't then use it now to define your entire life. So then when you start using it to define your entire life now, and you start attract individuals into your life now that is playing on that, it's just because of your attachment, you know, to that belief, to how you think that should operate within your life. And a lot of times, you don't have to think that way. You can actually think contrary to a lot of the popular flows, right? So sometimes you really do need some time by yourself to process things without the inclusion of others, and yeah, empty yourself of your desires and your fears too, because those are triggers which the enemy is going to use, like sending that beautiful young lady into my life that I know, right, to some degree has got a level of spirituality, but what does that really have to do with me as a person? If you get what I'm saying. I was trying to say it before, you know, what does it have to do with me? It's all good, but that we can connect on that argument, that we can reason about that. But the truth of the matter is, me as a person, right, my devotions might be contrary to this relationship or how it is going, or the desires we are creating within this relationship. So the essence is, why should we root ourselves into that function, right? Setting up ourselves for temptation that's obviously going to affect us emotionally down the road. When really and truly, I've learned that when you find a person of virtue and true heart and spirit, you know, there's just something about them different. It's not the outcomes, you know. So like with Victoria, it's not that it was all of the perfect attractiveness, but the principle, right, was right. And we didn't connect on all of the religious ideology or the religious favor, right? We connected on faith, right? And in knowing ourselves who we are, in being honest about that. And that's a difference when you're choosing mate, or you're choosing something based upon the actuality of who you are and what you desire, or what you're encountering, versus something that is based upon what you want, what you think is best, right? And if you keep failing at what you think is best, then you have a little depressive or a little lowness in self-image there. And so that's an opening right there, right? So it's like, for me, the opening came because I'm like, man, a lot of women aren't on that spiritual journey. So every time I was saying that, there'll be 3 or 4 more. But really and truly, the thing is, it's a person that is themselves that is far more appealing than someone that is just engaging in spiritual conversation, which is an enticement to me, right? So I was like, dang, I gotta watch out for these temptations because they're talking about all of the fine nature and harmony. You know, you're like, and if you don't mind sharp, you're sucked in. You know what I mean? Because it sounds so good. Almost too good to be true. Brother Roman.
Yeah, if you think in a temptation now, some sort of bad habit we pick up along the way. You see me? Whether it be from parents, brothers and sisters, friends, watching movies, watching things, music, some sort of bad habit we pick up along the way. And it become our weakness. You see me? So every time you have to do this bad habit, you see me? Because everybody in this world have temptations.
Absolutely.
Everybody have bad habits that is destructive to them. You see me? That is sinful. Because when we say temptation, it has to do with sin. You see me?
Something that would definitely affect and hurt the very fabric of your being. For me, it's like something that rots the fruit or the plant from inside. It's not just because of something affecting it from outside, so it's intrinsically something on the inside that's wrong. Rotten to the core, as I said, it's really rotten.
Yeah.
So,
and even general temptation, just like movies out there, you see me? Netflix and them things there, you see me? Many things out there for distract we. Many things out there for educate we. You see me? So we have to find the balance now, for don't let it tempt we so much.
hallelujah.
That we can balance it with godly things too, you see me? Because enough of we go through it, you see me? Because we not say we perfect, you see me?
Yeah.
We go through it, you see me?
Yeah.
We say, John, maybe too much of this series, you know.
Yes,
Let me
yes.
start read like a Bible, yeah, man,
Yes.
because
Hashem.
this distract me too much.
True, true.
You see me?
100%.
Yes,
I mean, trust me, you got it there, man. I mean, we are tempted again according to our desires, and sometimes watching too much of these, like I said, a TV series or something, it's just like it starts influence your thoughts, you know, because you're so enticed by, again, maybe it is out picturing a lot of the fantasies that you probably have in your mind, and it started with one fantasy that you like of maybe seeing a certain scenario in reality, and then they started advancing to more weirder and weirder, you know, and it's like, even within like watching a lot of these internet sites that have thousands of choices, sometimes you go on the same, you know, Netflix, and according to your belief system, you can see like a lot of things that is contrary to what you believe. But here's the enticement now. The way in which the visuals are, the graphics, right? The catchphrases, the beautiful women on the flyer or on the thumbnail or whatever, right? How she is dressed, how she's clad. Some people, they don't like the kind of skimpily, but some people, that's what entices them. Some people, the closer to nudity they are, that's what entices them. Some people, they're even enticed by her stately look. If she's gorgeous, if she looks like she's a woman of means or of class, of quality. So all these memes, all these little thumbnails that are really playing upon you, enticing you to draw you into choosing visually now, or audio visually, to watch these series, right? And it's like sometimes when they catch me for a second, and then bam, like I click on it and I start watching, and then within like a short time, this is what happened just naturally. I start doing this, a million other things, and the spirit is like, so somebody's not interested in something that we said not to watch. I was like, oh yeah, weren't you saying you were watching a show? Oh yeah, I was watching a show one time. You know, click. You understand me? It's like, even though I was tempted and still went and said, okay, let me see what this is about. a few moments in, hallelujah, it's nothing satisfying. And already I've lost interest. And even if the loss of interest isn't conscious, like I still think I'm watching it, but this will bring it to my attention that no, you're not. You're wasting data. Look, you know what I mean? Because you are wasting data because you're not watching it. And so, yeah, they catch us with the visuals, enticement to our eyes, to our senses. So the 7 deadly sins again refer to like say greed, to our desires, to our senses, to our sensibilities, to the things that we put great value on, the things that we think really mean more. So as we are, here in this moment, processing some of our temptations on the internal, and I'm sure you are processing some of the temptations that you're going through on your internal, just remember that it really comes with a kind of a passion. So I would say the opposite to that passion is compassion. So compassion tends to diffuse a lot of the enticements, you understand me? But passion increases it, because a lot of times, we are tempted by the things that we think increases us, heightens us, more pleasure, right? And to be honest, the opposite is the more compassionate things are in our sight, the less eager we are, the less tempted we are to just say, I'm gonna pack up all my life and go volunteer for the next 20 years of my life to help the disenfranchised across the world. I'm gonna do mission work for the next 30 years of my life. It's less likely, that we're gonna be tempted in the compassionate stuff. It's like you don't see people do that all the time. People tell us, I'm in a band, and me and Brother Ramon, we're gonna tour around North America. We do music, by the way, so I'm not just music. I'm just saying, But I mean, yeah, it's like that. It's like we are more thinking. That sounds like a cool idea to how we are taught by our cultures, right? That going around in a band, doing something like that is more valuable. So a lot of times, people get rotten, deceptive deals because they were enticed, they were tempted into thinking that they were going to be famous like some artist that's on television or some 15-year-old that's on the internet, and they were like, we can make you the next greatest thing. But it's like what you think is cool, what you think is, it's like it's filled with passion, what you are enthusiastic about. That's what the enemy attacks in one degree, as much as they attack what you're sad about. They also attack what you're very passionate about. So when it comes to your compassion now, sometimes it reduces their intensity. So learn to be a little bit more compassionate and seek, more information, more experience of things before you make decisions. So then just seeing a beautiful pair of shoes being advertised by somebody that you respect don't mean that the shoes has any value, right? You might start wearing the shoes and might develop an acute condition on your feet, right? Because something else is done to that shoes that you don't know. Or it made from a material that you're allergic to. Sometimes a lot of these things, like we hear of the best drink ever made, the best marijuana spliff ever made, the highest grades of herb. So there's something this week I want me to talk about. I just came out of nowhere in this week. It's like, listen, talk about that. Yeah, you have some people in this world, people. They talk about come to so-and-so farm, so-and-so place, you get the best grade of this ever. It's a temptation. You go and you smoke that herb, you start hallucinating. You start hallucinating. Not elucidating, by the way. Hallucinating, right? Am I saying it right for you? A lot of people get licked by spells, we call it in Jamaica. Why did they get hit by spells, brother Ramon? Because somebody enticed them to say, come to Orange Hill, come to where, come to this place and get the highest grade, the highest quality of experience you possibly could get, the greatest high, you name it, right? And they were tempted and got hooked. A demon came in, something came in, because that herb might have been made with a ritual, right? That herb they might have had a ritual over that herb for like 3 days, sorry, right? And so this high, concentrated high that you feel like, as Ramon said, going out into the cosmos, is a demon drawing out of your actual being, right? And so sometimes we are tempted again because we have these beliefs in what is high quality and high this. But as we motor forward into a life of overstanding, overcoming our temptations by just being grounded in truth, growing compassion, growing love, growing the spirit of the Most High God, so we can break away from these enticements. So until next time, this has been the great Owl and brother Ramon Singh right here, Reasons at the Trail Life, reminding you to overcome your temptations by being squarely focused on Yeshua Mashiach, the Most High God, and having peace in the inner self. Yeah? Remember to like, share, subscribe, Trail Life Television Network, Seala Media right here on YouTube. Support our Patreon, and just to feel like the Trail Life movement and the Seala Media movement, yeah, or tours or retreats, yeah. It's an awesome experience to just come and share this love with us. Glory to the Most High God. So until next time, just remember, you're an awesome gift to yourself, to your environment, and to all those you encounter. Love.
Perfect.